My name's Cassandra and I'm a freelance writer. And like a lot of writers, I spend most of the day on my computer. I have a leg length discrepancy. I have almost no cartilage in my left knee. One of my orthopedists referred to it as it being a pothole in my knee. And I have an old injury to the left ankle.
Ooh, how old is that?
18 years. I was hit by a car biking in New York City.
We all live inside a body, and every body comes with challenges. Hi there, this is David Weintraub from Bodyworks DW. We're back with another episode of The Challenge of Being You. We are here with a writer and author, Cassandra, who has a lovely batch of things that we'll be talking about today. I'm drinking espresso, I've got my notes here, we're all casual, and basically, why don't you introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, and let me ask this in a very formal way. Can you introduce yourself and what a typical workday and activity level looks like?
Yeah, I sure can. Sure, my name's Cassandra and I'm a freelance writer. And like a lot of writers, I spend most of the day on my computer. Mm-hmm. I do have a standing desk, which has helped with some things, but it's also introduced some other problems.
Sure. Right?
Now the lower back is hurting if I'm standing too much, even if I have that cushiony pad, even though I have my special shoes that I'm wearing. And so sometimes I do try to rotate, work at the table a little bit, maybe go to a cafe. But for the most part, I'm looking at the computer all day long. The mouse, that shoulder just all day long with the mouse. Try to get my walks in. A lot of the writing I do is travel writing, so I do get to travel a lot. Which is great because I get to do a lot of hiking, some biking, but I also spend a lot of time on airplanes and in buses and on trains and in sleeping in different beds that may or may not be that comfortable. So yeah, a little bit of mix of everything.
A lot of relevance to a lot of folks watching, I'm sure. Side note, I actually had a grand aunt named Sylvia whose entire career was travel writing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean back in the day, but she's no longer with us. But travel writing is its own thing, but
It is. It's really fun and it has a lot of perks, but it is also very different from what people envision. A lot of people, they say, oh my gosh, you're a travel writer, that's a dream job. I would just love to lay on a beach all day. And it's like, I can't tell you the last time I did that.
Right.
You get to do a lot of fun things, you get insider access, but they're very, very long days because you're trying to see and do absolutely everything. And you're often not sleeping well and you don't get the chance to adjust to the time zone. So it can be hard on the body. Not in the way that somebody who's doing manual labor every day is. I certainly would not compare my job to that. But there are certain stresses that come with the job that most people wouldn't think about.
Yeah. Well, and depending on the manual labor, so one thing I'm hearing that I want to dig in a little bit more on is, I'm guessing, and I could be wrong about this, that you don't really have a regular, reliable, I do this at this time, this day, this week kind of schedule. Some weeks it's a lot of travel, other weeks it's a lot of sitting at your home office, tightening up pitches or tightening up actual articles. Am I on base there, or is it?
Yeah, you're on base with that. I usually travel 7 to 10 days a month, sometimes more than that. So if I'm gone a lot and I'm not able to work a lot during the trip, which is typically the case, then I will be on my computer a lot more when I'm home.
Right.
At the same time, I often do have work to get done if I have an assignment and a deadline while I'm traveling. After my full day of activities, I'm then like hunched over on my laptop on the desk in the hotel room, which isn't helpful.
Okay, which leads me to one of the top questions I ask almost any one of my clients, which is like, what are the actual number of working hours you typically have in a week, and really count them as opposed to just sort of be like, 30,
Oh, I actually do track my hours, so I can tell you exactly how much I work every single week.
So what's an average?
So what I track, it's gonna be 20 to 30 on the average week.
Okay.
But the caveat is I'm only tracking time that I'm physically at my desk working on something.
Right.
So the average person that's working a 9 to 5 in an office, they're not working 40 hours. Half of their day is spent in the bathroom, at the coffee, table, on lunch break, chatting with friends, scrolling on their phone, in the back, taking a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just built into the day. However, as a freelancer, I want to know exactly how much time I'm spending on different projects, because that affects to pricing. You know, I might be getting a good rate on a project, but if I'm spending 3 times as long on it as anything else, I need to be aware of that. So when I clock hours, if I only clock 4 hours in the day, I still might be at my computer from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. It's just I'm not clocking those breaks in the bathroom time and the eating time and like the personal email scrolling time or the call with my sister time that most people would build into an 8-hour day.
Right, which is exactly why I asked the question that way, because typically none of us truly track the non-billable things that we're doing for our jobs. Right, like you're a travel writer. I'm assuming there's a lot of time sitting in airports, renting cars, driving, getting to locations, but you're not billing the people for those hours.
Correct.
They're still work hours.
Correct.
Right, and so if I ask you again, what's an average work week look like in hours? What would you guesstimate, knowing that, or just looking at it through?
Yeah, it would be closer to 40. Like on a travel work week, you might have 50, 60, 70. You know, because I might have 12 hours of flying time and then a couple hours in the destination. Yeah.
That was the answer I was
well, boom,
thinking we'd get to, just because
edit it out, go right to it. No.
For most of you, you know, that's the truth. It's like you're not counting your commute back and forth from work. You're not counting having to go out and get a different kind of meal because you're not at home cooking for yourself. All those things add up to, you know, and I've just had to learn for myself that that's all work.
Yes.
Right? Like that's all the things that I need to do that contribute to the thing that actually gets billed, that puts money in the bank.
Yes. So I use a time tracker, and there's like different hashtags. So I can have projects, but I can have different hashtags. So I have a hashtag for writing, like when I'm actually writing. Hashtag for meeting, hashtag for unbillable, which is my largest single category. Something like 60-70% of my time is unbillable. I recently created a hashtag or a project for thinking.
Yeah, sure.
Because sometimes I just have to sit down and think. Like, what is this idea that I'm coming up with? You know, what am I going to pitch to this editor? I'm working on a book on grief. What is this formulation? What is the structure I'm thinking? What is this interview I want to do? What am I going to capture? This is all working. Right? And so now I have this thinking category, which also just like helps me mentally. Because some days if I only clock 2 hours, I don't feel like I accomplished anything. Well, actually, no, I spent 2 hours thinking, or 3 hours thinking, and another hour on admin. So let me wrap all that in.
Yeah. And that's just typical of how we sort of undersell the amount of work we're doing, because you're sitting in a chair, you're doing all the physical things that you know, you're stressing, you're thinking, even thinking. Often there's the literal thinking. You know, we all know the thinking statue, right? Well, the posture on the thinking statue is terrible for your body, right? But that's actually what we're doing to ourselves in those moments. And so it, you know, having to have a contrast between that and, oh, I'm stretching, oh, I'm drinking water, oh, I'm walking and getting some reps in or something like that. It's helpful to just put it in the lens of, no, this is going to be bad for my body.
Yes.
Right? It's good for my soul, depending on what you're doing. It sounds like you enjoy your work. I enjoy my work. I want to be doing my work, right? But it's still work.
It's still work. And I've tried to build in some of what you said. So for instance, like if I need to think about something, or if I'm on a call and I don't have to be right in front of my computer and it's not a Zoom call, like I'm in the doorway stretching my shoulders, right?
Totally.
I might be doing push-ups on the counter, right?
Yeah.
Today I was on a call starting my lunch and they didn't know. And I was like, I really got to get this food going because I have to get to this interview with David, right?
Totally. I did the same thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's now tie this in a little bit with what's going on in your body.
All the things. Yeah.
So let's what are the things?
Okay. So my main issue is knee pain. I have almost no cartilage in my left knee. One of my orthopedists referred to it as it being a pothole in my knee. Right, it's a great visual. Everyone I tell that to is like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a pothole in my left knee. Yes, I don't know if that is hereditary. My mother in the last years of her life had no cartilage. You could just hear the bone on bone anytime she moved or got up, the grinding. My sister had 3 knee surgeries before she was 25. So I don't know if there's a hereditary angle.
Knee surgery before 25 and not due to some actual like impact injury
Correct.
or like serious heavy duty impact sport.
Yeah.
Probably hereditary.
Right.
Not a guarantee, but much more likely.
Right.
Right.
Well, thanks, Mom. Great. So there's that. I have a leg length discrepancy. My left leg is 6 millimeters shorter than my right leg.
And just so I get it, just for everybody, you've confirmed that with x-rays?
I have confirmed that with
Excellent.
x-rays.
All right.
I knew that years ago. I had a chiropractor tell me that. And then I had a series of doctors who were not concerned at all. Orthopedist, not overly concerned. Podiatrist, not overly concerned.
Right.
I went to this fancy health clinic in Mexico, Shaw Wellness, and I saw an osteopath there who said, you have this leg length discrepancy. I think that's related to the knee pain. I think it's related to this. You need to get an x-ray and determine what that leg length is. So thank you, Shaw, Mexico, because then osteopath.
Osteopath, thank you.
Yeah, because had I not gone to Shaw, I would not have known this. And so, or the importance of it. I knew there was a discrepancy. And so then I was trying to convince the orthopedist and the podiatrist who were like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, can we please I just want these x-rays. And so I got the x-rays, 0.6 millimeter. Separate from that, and I also knew this from my chiropractor, so I've got this
0.6 millimeters.
Millimeters.
Or 0.6 centimeters?
6 millimeters.
So 0.6 centimeters, yes. Okay, great.
Yes, love the metric system, yes. So left leg is shorter. On top of that, my pelvis is rotated in a way such that it is exacerbating that difference versus like kind of evening it out. Is how it was explained to me, I think. I can get you those x-rays.
Yeah, that's sort of a chicken and egg question.
Okay.
To me, I would say any pelvic rotation is going to be related to, caused by. Okay. Well, let's go through. I mean, we're sort of assuming that your leg length difference is hereditary, but just to check the boxes, did you have a growth plate injury when you were a child?
No major injuries as a child.
So you didn't break a bone on the end of the bone?
Nothing.
Okay, because that's really the only other major cause, unless somebody literally like you shatter your bone and they put it together at the wrong length with pins and plates. Okay. If you have a growth plate injury to the end of the bone, as a child, one bone will grow faster than the other one.
Oh, okay.
And that will result in the leg length difference by the time your skeleton bakes in, so that would be the checkbox I would want to make sure to check. Is if you knew you had that, you're like, I broke my femur or my tibia, those are the 2 big long bones in one leg, when I was 11, and that's a time when it's like prior to your major growth spurt. If your growth plate is injured, the bone won't continue to grow at the same rate as the other one, and then you'll have a major growth spurt and you'll get a leg length difference, right? That's one classic cause, the other one being hereditary. So if you don't remember anything like that, we're going to assume hereditary, without ever probably knowing for sure. Okay. So I just wanted to sort of put that out there, for everybody to understand, like those are really the 2 major causes for a leg length difference, and we're sort of assuming hereditary also because you mentioned your sister having 3 surgeries prior to 25, your mom having issues too. That probably means genetics. And so we could get into the genetics of connective tissue stuff. There's a whole zillion different autoimmune, different places we could look at in terms of that kind of a thing. I'm curious because leg length difference often goes along with a scoliosis. Do you know you have a scoliosis or not? Or
I do not. Not that, unless it's something new.
Yeah, it could be.
Right. Yeah, unless it's something new.
They didn't have you do the bend test in high school and tell you did. Okay.
No.
Great. So we'll sort of assume no, and I've seen both cases. I've seen just a leg length difference. Often what happens for a leg length difference, because one leg being longer is going to hike up the hip on one side, that is going to cause the lumbar to bend slightly with that hike. You'll get instead of getting the classic S-curve scoliosis, you'll get what's called a J-curve. Okay. Where there's just the bottom of it curves out very slightly because of that difference. And I'm gonna guess you probably have a slight J curve, but we'll see.
I feel like at some point someone said I have mild scoliosis.
Yeah.
I might have also made that up. I don't know.
Right.
I've seen so many doctors, but I feel like I maybe have heard that, but I haven't done any formal testing that I recall.
Okay. And it just one of the things to look at, right? It doesn't, and both of those, because they're bone structural baked into the skeleton things, they're things that we can maintain and improve the symptoms that they cause, but not actually change the shape of the skeleton. Like, anybody who tells you they can straighten a scoliosis, I have not heard of anything besides Harrington rod surgery that can actually do that. And you can do that, but that often causes just as many different problems as it solves. So the bone length difference in the legs, it's like there are surgeries now where you can lengthen legs. They have their advantages and disadvantages. I would say that for you, in your case, it probably would cause as many problems as it solves.
Right.
So it really becomes know you have the problem, know it's going to continue to stress out certain areas of the body, and know then some strategies for how to tamp symptoms down and maintain that. And it sounds like you're already employing some, like stand-up desk, sit-down desk. Switching back and forth is always the strategy I give to anybody. With a leg length difference, I heard you mention that the standing desk solves some problems and causes some back problems.
The lower back pain, it kicks in. Because I know, so one thing when I'm standing, what I like to do is like swing my arms. Because the main issue is the left knee and then the right shoulder. So if I'm standing, shoulders are back, I'm moving around, and that's helpful. But then it's the low back issue. I also have an ergo chair. I have a brand new one. I had a different ergo chair, but it seems like it's made for a man who's 6'4". So it's big and fancy, and I'm almost 5'9". Like, I'm not a petite woman, and I'm still just drowning in this thing. So I have a different one that allows for like squatting, kneeling, one leg up, one leg down. So I've been using that for about a month, hoping that will help with some relief. Hopefully
should. Harry is sitting in one of my two favorite ergo chairs, the core chair, which I also, when I'm teaching here, that's how I can sit for hours and not feel like I'm just dying. Because I have an autoimmune disorder called psoriatic arthritis that makes my joints scream at me if I'm sitting too long. There may be, leg length difference, some of the other issues you're talking about, there may be some autoimmune thing to look at. We'll as we're talking through things, I may throw out some check boxes there, but we'll see.
So the right shoulder made worse by the mouse. I even have one of those separated keyboards, so I'm not like this. I'm like this.
Great.
But when it's like this, that means I have to reach further for the mouse. So there's like no way. I've even tried to put the mouse in between, but that's just not practical. So that's my situation. The main issues here. I also have mild arthritis in the front of my left foot, so it's like over here.
So left knee, left foot.
Left knee, left
right
foot.
Right low back.
Yeah, and I have an old injury to the left ankle.
Ooh, how old's that?
18 years. I was hit by a car biking in New York City. And
how old were you then? If you don't mind my putting your age on camera.
About 25.
25, okay.
Yeah, and so the problem, it was not a serious hit, but I didn't get ice for several hours. I got a triple sprain, which I didn't realize was even a thing, but they said I sprained 3 sides. My ankle immediately swelled up to a grapefruit. And I was sent to a crappy hospital where they didn't give me ice for 3 hours. They pushed me to the end, so they didn't have to hear me ask for ice. And I finally had, like, a police officer walked by who felt bad for me, and he got me one of those purple plastic gloves filled with ice, and I put it on. So there is no doubt that I have lingering issues in my left ankle because of that. I feel a lot of tightness in here constantly, and then that arthritis here. I have chronically tight calves, even though I use a slant board. I use that blue thing to stretch the calves. So I have that going on. I think those are most of the main things. I have tinnitus in my left ear. I don't know.
How long has that been going on?
You know what's interesting? I didn't even notice it for a long time because it is mild. I think it's probably stronger than it used to be, but it was just my norm. And so I got used to it. And I mean, this is New York City. It's very loud.
Yeah.
And I started noticing it more in silence when I'm sitting and I'm reading. But for a while, for me, what it sounds like, because it sounds different to different people. For me, it sounds like an old school TV when you turn off the screen, but it's not totally off and you can still hear that high pitched buzzing.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. And so for a long time, I'm thinking it's something environmental. I'm thinking it's like something outside my window. Right?
Right.
And then it's just like not going away. And so maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. I only started really noticing it more, I'd say, in the last 9 to 10 months.
Okay.
I have a tight jaw. And I know this because people have told me this, not because like I actively feel it
Sure.
tight. I've had a couple of massages. They're like, wow, that's tight. And afterwards, they're like, do you feel better? And I'm like, no, I actually don't feel a difference. And they're telling me that they can feel the difference. Are they? Can they? I don't know. I don't know. Is it my norm and that's just what I'm used to, so I don't feel that tightness?
I mean, watching you speak, I can see that the jaw is tight.
Okay.
And I do, one of my specialties is jaw and TMJ and inner mouth work. There's a couple muscles you can only get at from inside the mouth with gloves on. We certainly don't have to do that today.
I would actually love.
Okay.
I would love to do that. I don't know if I have TMJ. My sister, I don't know if this is hereditary. My sister definitely has TMJ, much more severe than I do.
Okay.
I have a mouth guard that was recommended a couple years ago for grinding my teeth, which I think was brought on by like a very stressful time in my life. Still using that mouth guard. She has that, but she has like the next level of it, whatever that means. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So again, I don't know if there's a hereditary angle, but I'm just putting that out there, that's going on. My chiropractor said the tinnitus could be related to that.
It could. Yeah.
I've heard acupuncture can help with that. I haven't tried it for that specific
It's possible
thing.
too.
Yeah.
Certainly if the inner mouth work has any effect on it at all, then we'll assume that it's more related to the fascia pulling from the jaw muscles, which is sometimes the case. Obviously, if it's actual eardrum damage, then that's a whole other story. And it's one or the other. It's not. Okay.
It's not. I did an audiology.
You did. So then
Yes.
it's probably helpable and solvable with caveats, to that. It's not like, but a lot of times the inner mouth work really gets that to go away. It certainly can get the mouth guard. I've had a lot of clients who don't need mouth guards anymore.
That would be great.
Certainly can't say that one treatment will solve all of that.
No, of course
but
not.
it will definitely. Now, I will tell you.
Well, I believe that's what you promised. All the problems solved today.
I did not. I would never, and I have never on camera or in ethics
Of course not.
ever promised that.
Of course not.
Because it's barely ever happened in my career. Like it's I can count on my fingers the number of times in 18, 19, almost 20 years now of practicing, probably 8,000 clients or something now.
Yeah.
Where they came in once and like I saw them again a year later and was like, hey, whatever happened with that thing? And they're like, oh, you cured it. And I'm like, what?
I'm surprised it even happened once.
That's
like
not a thing.
just the way the body works.
Yeah, and it's like that's just a fluke.
Yeah,
Most things take 3 to 8 sessions depending on the issue. And it's not that they won't feel relief, it's to get the relief to stick, we gotta like connect all the different areas and get all the different things loosened up, right?
Yeah.
And that takes sessions and time. It doesn't happen all in one. And if I try to do it all in one, then nothing really feels better.
Right.
Maybe it feels better for an hour and then it's right back, right? And so I'd rather focus on one issue, get that to feel different in a way that's very noticeable so that you're like, wow, there is a pathway to relief.
Yeah.
And then we stack the different things together, and hopefully by the end of a series where we get each thing to feel better, the sum total of that is that everything feels better and stays feeling better for X amount of time. Months to years, never permanent. There is no such thing as permanent in the human body. I mean, I was chewing on this with a client last week, but your entire body's cells are almost entire. Let's get real, but most of your cells are replaced within 7 years in your body. Like whoever you are now, 7 years from now, most of you will not be there. Like your soul, if there is such a thing, and I'm not going to debate that, but whatever that is, and that it's stored in your brain and or heart and or ether, if such things exist, will still be there to some degree. But the physical form has actually been almost entirely replaced at that point. So any idea that something's permanently fixed in the way that you like replace a carburetor on a car is just not really accurate to how the hundreds of millions of cells coexisting with on a daily basis actually function. But that doesn't mean we can't get long-term relief. We can. We just have to really be clear about what that really is.
Yeah.
All right, so we got left ankle. We got left arthritic.
Front foot. Arthritic.
Front foot. We got left knee, right low back, left
well, just like
right
low back
shoulder.
In general. Low back in general.
Yeah. Right shoulder.
Right shoulder.
Left side ear tinnitus, all jaw pain.
Yeah.
To me, that's an entire track of related issues stemming back. And I'm going to guess, well, no, I shouldn't guess this, but I would hazard a guess that the ankle came first before the knee, before the back.
The ankle for sure came first before the knee. I had separate back. So something else did happen. Actually, I forgot about. My back kind of just like went out when I was maybe 21.
Okay. Wow, that's before the ankle. Okay.
And it happened after a flight back from Taiwan when I was in college. And so that's not great for the back, low back, very long flight. And I remember my mom was giving me a massage, and all of a sudden it felt like somebody literally stabbed me in the back, and I screamed.
Okay.
And then she stopped, and it was like kind of fine. And then a couple days later, I'm walking through the house and I fall. I just like my legs just went out. I just like fell. And I'm like, what on earth was that? And I got up and it was fine. And then a few days later, it happened again, but I couldn't get up. And I needed help getting up, and I couldn't even walk. And so I had such extreme low back pain. And for several weeks, I was using a full-on walker. And then I moved to using a cane, and it was really painful to sit. Everything was painful to do. And the doctor I went to, a surgeon, of course, was telling me about some cutting-edge surgery where they just like suck one of the discs out of your back. I'm 21.
Yeah,
and his
right.
first suggestion is sucking a disc out of my back. I went and did acupuncture. The first guy didn't work, and then I found another acupuncturist, and I immediately started seeing relief.
Okay.
That has never happened again. So I kind of forgot about that. That was 20-some years ago.
Right. Okay.
But then came the ankle a couple years after that, and then much later, the back pain.
All right, so now I have to check in because your back just suddenly going out with no precursor at all. There's a lot of different things that could be. So checking in earlier in life, was there any ankle sprain, toe break, knee issue, groin pull in a sport? Did you play sports? Let's go there.
I didn't play sport. I was not an active kid. I was a fat, lazy kid. I sat around and watched TV and ate frozen food.
Okay.
So no. I mean, I had some low back pain here and there, and I was seeing a chiropractor like when I was 20, 21 for that, but I don't remember there being any major event or any injury in life, and certainly no pain to the degree that I felt after I fell.
Okay. Did you ride bicycles a lot as a kid? Ice skate, do anything even though you didn't think of it as a sport?
I drove a car.
Drove a car. Well, okay.
Not a sport, but sitting.
No, sitting. Well, driving a car definitely has impact on the low back for sure.
At the time, like I grew up in the city, but then as a teenage years, early college years, it was more suburban. So it was very sedentary lifestyle. So I don't know if the sitting is related to that.
It is. It's just still unusual at 21 to be dealing with that level of normal late 20s, early 30s type episodic pain. And so that's why I'm sort of running through the check boxes of, well, often that has a precipitating injury. And if it doesn't, then I have to look at other things. And I'm coming back to potential autoimmune hereditary type stuff. Like, and I'm guessing you haven't ever worked with a rheumatologist on anything like that. So back stuff like what you're describing could be any of the normal, like what I have, psoriatic arthritis. It could be rheumatoid arthritis. It could be ankylosing spondylosis, all of which are arthritic type, autoimmune type things. Yeah. The back thing does line up a little bit with ankylosing spondylosis. That usually is where the first symptoms show up as low back. but there's any number of other things it could be, and I'm not a rheumatologist, right?
Yeah.
I know enough to know to send you to one
Right.
when it looks like that's the issue and nothing
Right.
else explains it.
Right.
But beyond that, it's like it's their job to determine whether any of that exists or not. And there's plenty of times when it seems like maybe there's an autoimmune thing going on or some other hereditary thing going on, and yet we don't find it. Of course, the medical industry classically, with a lot of people I've talked to, worked with, will spend 10 years running through all the check boxes before they actually come up with a legit diagnosis for people.
Yeah.
So who knows, right? Like, so so I'm curious, right? And maybe all of that is just that you have a leg length difference. You hit your 20s and your skeletons, you've gone through your major growth spurts, your skeleton bakes that in, and that's the first thing that goes out is, your back, which that actually makes more sense than anything now that I'm
Because it
speaking
hasn't happened
it through.
since then.
Yeah.
But there have been periods in my adult life, maybe every year or two, I'll be like, oh, that
Yeah.
doesn't feel good. And I know I really need to prioritize stretching. I really need to prioritize certain stretching. I need to get on the ground and do certain specific stretches that I know will help with this lower back pain, because I can feel it's not so serious, but I feel that pain and that sharpness in a way that it needs to be dealt with. If it doesn't get dealt with, I know it will get serious.
Right.
But fortunately, I've been able to deal with it with stretching, that it's never gotten to the point where I collapse again.
Yeah. And that, I'm right there with you, and I've had, because of my autoimmune disorder, which I didn't know until my 40s, that was really what was causing it all. All sorts of episodic things. I mean, I have a big, long sports history through multiple serious level sports. So I have all sorts of precipitating injuries that probably should have explained it without the autoimmunity. And then, I've only come around in my 40s, now 50s, to be like, oh, actually it's worse than all of that.
Yeah.
And that's why. But it's just hearing all that, it's potentially worth a check.
Okay.
So we ran through a bunch of things, and we'll never get everything, right? That's why we do sessions in series, and it's an art form. Like, this is a very long intake conversation. Normally I would condense this down to like 8 to 10 minutes max, and then we talk while we're working, and we talk session to session to session. Maybe we get to some of these things later. That's totally fine. But in this context, we sort of wanted to run through all the possibilities. There was a couple of things you wanted to make sure that were part of the conversation, which was
my wrist. I had a cyst in it, possibly from I slipped hiking in Mexico, again, 20 years ago. Had this cyst a couple years ago. One of the orthopedists stuck something in, sucked it out. It was still bothering me. It just feels like, when you got to crack your neck and you crack it and it's fine. So this constantly feels like I have to crack it, but I can't. And so it just wasn't going away. And so I went in and convinced them to do an MRI. And they discovered the cyst is not there, but apparently I have something called Kienbach's disease. Yeah. So I just got this diagnosis a few weeks ago, like literally a couple days before you and I had first spoken. And there's a small bone in my wrist that is not getting blood flow and it's dying.
Right.
And so eventually all of the bones in my wrist will have arthritis.
And you didn't think you had any strange issues at all that I've never even heard of until you told me. So Kienbach's is, go
so
on.
That's fun. And the orthopedist said I will probably need surgery in 5 to 10 years to minimize it. What it sounds like to me is just a different, more direct path, faster path to arthritis versus the more traditional path.
Right.
So that sucks, but not as bad as my sister having all her knee arthritis when she's 25. Right. My mom was a pianist. She had severe arthritis in her hands. But so I've got that situation. So it's always just like, I'm always just like constantly manipulating and shaking, and it just won't go away. So there's that. And I wanted to mention, I recently started wearing heel inserts. So I have it in my left shoe. I've also gotten better, or I shouldn't say gotten better. I've also started wearing shoes more inside. Yeah. Like I have my house shoes and even my house slippers, and even, those sturdy ones with the little bumps on them, like not the recovery. I have like some recovery sandals. Yep. I have glued heel lifts onto them, because if I'm home working all day, I even have them in my cushy little slippers. Yeah. So I think it will help. I'd like your opinion, but I'm also wondering, is that creating an issue because now it's just the heel in the back, and so now the front is down. Should I do it all the way across? But then also, is that going to crowd the front of my foot where I have the arthritis? You know what I mean? There's just like a lot going on.
Then that's a great share. This is one of those issues with a leg length difference where there's no perfect solution, right? The heel lift is going to solve the pelvic imbalance, which is going to help your low back out a ton and take stress off of your knee, right? As you say, it might create some weird calf, ankle instability.
Which are already chronically tight.
Yeah, if you're just lifting the heel, if you lift the whole foot, then the front of the foot is crammed into the shoe, and that's a problem. The solution that some people do is to have custom-made shoes where the bottom of the shoe has a lift for the whole foot. Obviously, that is a solution that only, you can't afford to do that for every pair of
really
shoes you
expensive.
own.
And I wear
right?
them down, walking on concrete
exactly.
several miles a day.
Heel lift is the easiest of the bunch with the most benefits and the least sacrifices. What's the word I'm looking for? The least negative impact.
Yeah. Contraindications? No.
Well, yeah.
Side effects.
Side effects.
Yes.
Great. There you go. We'll take side effects
yes.
for
for 300.
Pat. Whatever for 300. Yeah. Exactly. Because A, you can get them replaced easily. B, they solve enough of the problem, especially if you're talking about just a 6 millimeter as opposed to almost an inch, where that's enough where you're getting the benefit of getting your pelvis aligned better.
Yeah.
You're not putting such a bad impact on the shape of the foot. You are getting a little bit of that happening, but it's a little and not like a massive change.
And I think it's like 4 to 5 millimeter just because that's what was available.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Well, and that's also just sort of a compromise, and that's fine. It's definitely, and I love your solution, especially understanding of wearing the shoes inside. I have a bunch of people with these things that are like, well, I wear it when I know I have to walk a lot, and I'm just like, wear it all the time.
I was a barefoot indoors person until like last year.
Right.
I was just barefoot all day on hardwood floors, which is not great.
Right,
It's
and
not great for the feet.
I prefer walking barefoot all day myself, but I also have two legs that are exactly the same length, so or at least close enough to be, to not need to correct for it, right? And so the compromise solution I think that you're using is very elegant, right?
Okay.
It will solve more problems than it causes, for sure.
Okay.
And if it's something that you can actually do without forcing yourself and all of that, then it's probably the best of the bunch. If you were to be like, I'm gonna go hike the Himalayas, for the next 6 months, and I'm gonna be wearing the same pair of hiking boots, then you might talk about, okay, let's get a custom fit thing to that shoe to lift you exactly so that your foot is inside the shoe comfortable, and that they're, but that's...
And I do have custom orthotics, and I put my heel thing under that.
Great. I think that's the compromise elegant solution, honestly. And then in terms of the instability and all that, we can we can work on that. I mean, if anybody who's been in any of my classes or trained under me knows that like foot and ankle stuff to me is like, I like to call ankles the original sin, because it's often somebody's first actual injury in life, and it really cascades right up the body. And you can get jaw work, you can get neck work, which I specialize in too. You can do all this work to relieve those symptoms.
Of
course you do.
Of course I do.
Of
course, in general, but more on the right side.
We're not even talking about that. Everybody has neck pain. Like we are talking about it, but you would with jaw pain like that. I wouldn't even think that you wouldn't have that. In fact, I should be asking you one more question about the tinnitus and the jaw pain. Is, do you know if you get migraines?
I do not.
You don't?
I do not get migraines, thank goodness.
So it's like, even for my jaw pain clients, I'm gonna do a session at some point, maybe session 3 or 4, where I just work on the lower leg. Because that's what's gonna get the relief that I can create up here to stick long term. Because that's the original sin down there for most people, not everybody, but often. And so that whole chain of things that you're pointing out to me is all interrelated. And the goal in a series that we're not going to do today, we're going to just start something today that should get you some relief and some idea of what might help you, is that we have to unwind all of the aspects of the whole chain in order to get anything along the chain to feel better long term, right? Each one can be made to feel better, but to get that feel better to stick, each part of the contributing chain needs to be worked on. So that's kind of like, and today what I'm going to try to do is sort of elegantly like work on a few different parts of the chain and connect them together enough. But I'll ask you the same question I ask everybody. Of all the different things, what's most important to you today to feel better? Is it the knee? Is it the jaw? Is it the shoulder, the back?
I would say the jaw.
Okay.
I mean, the shoulder and the knee affect me the most, but I'm curious about the jaw just because it's something I haven't explored that much, and I know that's a more niche area. So if you specialize in that, I'd be curious to know what that can do in general, like my tinnitus specifically, the neck, whatever. Now,
great, and we can do that, and you already said you were potentially game for the inner mouth work. I'll just say that that's a very brief number of minutes at the end of the session. And so what I'm envisioning now is that we're going to sort of work the chain asymmetrically up through your body and then end there. And then, but I'm going to put the thing together in my brain to try to get the most relief up there.
Okay.
So how does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. All right, so let's get you in front of the cameras for some body reading and analysis.
Sure.
So that we can then get you on the table.
Great.
We're going to do something a little different today with Cassandra because of the leg length difference, and we're going to body read with shoes on, with the heel lift in, and then take those away and see the difference and why the heel lift is actually a really helpful thing. So with the heel lift in, I'm just going to point out a few things that I see what they mean to me.
Okay.
And so the very first thing that jumps out to me is that this right leg is externally rotated and that foot is out. Both are a tiny bit out, but the right one much more noticeably so.
Okay.
However, going up there, the sort of brownie points are that her ankles are under her knees and her hips. She's not standing wide like a lot of people would. All right, so we've got a good plumb line in the legs, ankles under knees, under hips. The hips with the heel lift in are actually quite level, which is then showing up as a level up here at the shoulders and a level at the head. And so all of the sort of left-right asymmetries to me are pretty balanced other than that slight more external rotation at the right leg. There's a little sense that the left arm is a little further away from your body, but that's really subtle.
Well, the right shoulder kind of leans forward, and I think it's because of all of this work.
Yep.
I have to like fight it to be like, this feels unnatural, but is it supposed to look like this?
Totally.
You know?
And just so we get the differences with and without, can you turn to that side? Right, and so in this position, there's a little bit more noticeable things of asymmetrical. So here what we're looking is major joints on a plumb line. There's a little bit of a back bend going on here, a little bit of a neck forward, a little bit of suboccipital activity. I think the main thing jumping out to me is this sense that there's like no knees, like almost like you're ski jumping right now forward. And I'll exaggerate on camera as this sense that you're really out here, like, yeah, it's not like that, but it's a little bit of a sense like that. And if we can create like a more subtle bend in the knee, then the pelvis gets to relax and the low back gets to relax and tuck down. And
I have had doctors
drop.
say like, oh, try to, tuck the butt a little bit, which I try, but then that also feels like very unnatural. You know what I mean?
And there's things we can do. Hip flexors are going to be, psoas iliacus are going to be the major contributors to that. But even here, like there are some really strong sense of like each joint more on top of the other joints. And so it's very interesting to hear you talk about all these issues because it's like posturally you're actually in pretty decent shape, right? Turn, let's see, so turn back towards the camera. Now let's take off the socks and shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so here we now get to see the difference, right? And you think your left leg is longer?
Shorter.
Short, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, that's exactly what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I was getting a little wigged out there. Okay, so now without the heel lift, like actually providing the making the legs more the same length, we do start to see where these impacts pile up, right?
Yeah.
And so that external rotation here now makes much more sense because it's basically, this is the longer leg and it's creating more space. And because if it were really straight, you would really feel the hip hike up even more. It's also going to be part of that hip rotation, right? But with this being the shorter leg, we're now getting a sense that your upper body tips that way and that your head compensates by tilting back the other way. It's still pretty subtle. Like I've seen people with close to an inch leg length difference where it's really massively apparent. With you, it's subtle, but I would, seeing you stand that way, potentially like start to think, well, I wonder if there is a leg length difference. Most people who claim to have one, when you look at the x-rays, it's not there. It's just that their posture is off. But you've had the x-rays, you know it's there, and now we can see it in the posture. There's a sense that her upper body shifts a little off the midline that way, her head shifts a little that way. It's also going to show up as a subtle spiral. So this hip is a little more forward than that one is. This shoulder spirals forward towards us, and that goes back a little bit. It's all very subtle, but the difference between this and with the heel lifting is very noticeable on camera.
Okay.
And very, and
So stick to the heel lift.
stick to the heel lift.
Okay.
That's doing its job. It's getting everything to balance out. It's going to put less stress on that knee, that joint, those things. And you can think of the knee, she's talking about this knee being like almost paper thin, no cartilage. Well,
Pothole.
a lot more of your upper body weight is actually slamming down through it.
Right.
And so
That's what the osteopath in Mexico said.
yeah, well, she knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And that the knees, I have a running joke that knees were designed to last 40 years and then we got modern medicine and vaccines and suddenly we actually started living a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
And so the number of knees that go out in the 50s and 60s is a very high incidence, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're just putting way more weight onto it, walking through it on one side, well, that knee has a lot more chance of grinding down.
Do you see a difference? Like you said, I was kind of like launching off before, like without the heel.
Let's go back this way. Let's just see.
Is it the same? Because I'm wondering, like, was the heel lift
No, it's
kind
not.
of promoting that? Like, am I still doing that?
Not as much. So
Okay,
it might
so that
be,
heel lift was kind of,
Yeah, well, exactly. You just did it.
like I said, that's what it is. It kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's where the compromise of it starts to get into things. But there's also ways that we can help with that.
Okay.
That we can make that less of an issue. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Without the heel lift, you don't have that ski jump kind of a tendency there. Turn that way just so that we can see the difference between the two sides on
and then
camera.
this is the shoulder issue side.
Yep, and here you can really see how much more forward this hip is and how this back bend is falling back even more. This shoulder rolls forward to compensate. There's a lot more sense that the major joints are both either behind or forward of the plumb line that we're drawing mentally right here, that maybe on camera we'll do some magic and put an actual line there. Then the other side, which is a little bit more lined up. So to me, the whole thing exists as this giant spiral that starts with the leg length difference and unfortunately the ankle. That's a chicken and egg question. Did the leg length thing cause the ankle? Did the ankle, well, you said you got hit by a car, so that's not, no, the car hitting you was the cause, but.
Yeah, it didn't hit me that hard. I am not excusing the driver who then drove away, but it.
Bad driver.
Right,
Bad.
but I mean, he just like tapped the wheel and it was just like the angle that I fell.
Right.
It just ballooned.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right. I have a good idea what I want to try and work on today. For the LMTs watching this, we're going to do the session entirely face up. Okay. I'm basically going to work on trying to lengthen out this leg, work on that ankle and knee to give them some decompression and some feeling better. We'll do both hip flexor, iliacus, psoas, then work up the midline into the shoulder and the neck and the jaw.
Okay.
And that should feel like a number of the listed issues will tone down.
Okay.
But the goal for me is to end up with the jaw being the thing that gets most impacted.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Great. So now I've already said I mostly do myofascial release. From a pressure intensity standpoint, I always like to give clients, instead of just asking you like, how's the pressure? I like to say, if I gave you a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being barely touching you and 10 being totally unbearable, where am I right now?
2.
2. All right, so
I'm
you're
used to much more.
You're a toughie.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
Deep tissue. Perhaps too deep at some point. I definitely have bruised on occasion. Which is never the goal, but sometimes I get home and I'm like, oh, yeah, that was too much.
So given that, I'm going to say that a lot of the work is going to feel more like a 5 to you as opposed to an 8.
Okay.
Because, you know, there's a point at which I'm just going to go into the level that your tissue lets me versus trying to force anything to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If that still doesn't feel like an 8, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I also don't think it's necessarily good to assume that a massage is not effective if it's not painful.
It's
And I do fall into
right.
that category sometimes, and I know a lot of my friends like, oh, I only get painful massages because if it's too light, it just doesn't feel effective. And maybe that's just because we're going to massage therapists who don't know how to give an effective lighter massage.
Lighter's
What are your
the
thoughts?
wrong. It's even there. It's like it should feel what I call comfortably uncomfortable. It should not feel just comfortable.
But you shouldn't be grimacing.
You shouldn't be grimacing. And if you're grimacing, then that's counterproductive.
Okay.
You know, like for instance, right down here, this is pretty bunched up. This, on most people, would feel like a 6 or a 7. What I'm doing right now.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay, so
I feel it, but it's.
we've got some desensitization issues
Oh,
going on
okay.
with you, which is okay. So let me have you try this. I want you to slowly flex your foot back towards your knee. Good, and let it go.
It intensified as my foot came up.
Excellent. You are human, you feel things. That's good to know. We have to establish that. You weren't lying about your calves and your lower leg being tight, were you?
Yeah. And I was doing the slant board stretching this morning and yesterday, and do it every single day, and just the calves are just tight every single day of my life, no matter what.
Well,
And I do wonder if that heel lift contributes to that. I'd be interested in hearing from you, is the calf as tight on the right side where I don't have the heel lift? That feels stronger.
Good.
I'll give you that.
It should. If you're not feeling this, then I'd start to worry.
Okay. Yeah, that is closer to a 7-8. The inside of the ankle down to the heel, that's been pretty sensitive lately, and I don't know if it's because I've been wearing the heel lift or what. But
Yeah,
it's
it
felt
would
more
be.
sensitive on the inside.
Mm-hmm. See, that thing I just did for most people would have been an 8.
Yeah, it was stronger.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was stronger. I wouldn't call it unbearable, but yeah, I'd say that was a 6-7. Don't tell the kids I said that.
6, 7. Yeah, we have to remember to give you this proprioceptive exercise for your calves.
Okay. I foam roll sometimes. I need a middle of the road foam roller though. I have one of those that's completely flat and doesn't do much, and then one that has these huge painful knobs. I need something that's a bit more Goldilocks.
All right, that's a start. Go ahead and flex your foot back towards your knee again. And let go. And again. And then pick up your ankle a millimeter off the table. Good, let go of everything. Well, no wonder your knee hurts. This deeper vastus intermedius of your quad is not moving at all. Go ahead and flex back towards your knee, gently lift, and let it all go. Okay, there it's going a little bit. At some point this is going to start to feel like I'm breaking your femur.
It's intense, I'll say that.
Flex your foot back towards your knee. Lift your ankle. Let go. Ooh, okay. Well, if you were worried at any point up till now that I didn't have the way to deliver the goods, you should probably feel now like I am capable of deep pressure.
Yep, I was wondering.
Flex your foot back towards your knee. Lift your ankle. Let it go. Wow, that's tight.
And which muscle is that? Like the whole thing, or?
Vastus intermedius. It's the deep quad, the power mover of the knee. And again, flex and lift and let go.
It's about to get real painful.
Flex, lift, let go. Breathe. Let yourself breathe faster if you need to. That's, yeah, wow. Hi there.
Yeah, that was a lot. I do get that the quad is always pretty sensitive in massages, and when I foam roll it, it's quite painful. What might cause that to be tight?
Well, it's a chicken and egg question. It's definitely partly related to the foot and ankle and the leg length difference. It also may be doing what I call I like to joke that our bodies are stupid sometimes, and it's like you have no cartilage and your body feels pain, so it tightens the knee to protect it, which is exactly the wrong approach. It should be loosening the knee a little bit, and tightening in response to the cartilage pain is causing more compression on the lack of cartilage, not less. That's where your statement earlier that you need to stretch more, you definitely need to learn to stretch that muscle particularly, which I can show you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, because I feel like I stretch so much more than the average person, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I'm always surprised how tight I am. I'll go for a big bike ride and I'm the only one stretching afterwards. I'll do a hike with friends and I'm the only one stretching. So I wonder, is everybody in the world just tighter than I am, or is there something about my body that it just requires more stretching than other people?
Let me see something. It's funny because you're not classically, that I can tell yet, super hypermobile. I don't know can you open your elbow backwards when you do that? A little tiny bit, but not super amounts. So you're a little hypermobile on the spectrum of that. You're like.
With my shoulders, I think I am, because my physical therapist is like, "Oh, don't stretch your shoulder that much. That's just not good."
And the thing about hypermobility is that you probably are stretching just your ligaments and tendons, not your muscles.
Oh, that can be. I guess I don't know.
Because they're already soft enough to move and stretch. And so learning how to stretch the muscles versus the joints is going to be a game changer.
Okay. Noted.
Man, we should probably turn the AC on.
Yeah, I was cooking at home this morning, and all of a sudden I was just like, man, is it hot in my apartment. Just ridiculously hot.
We turned the AC on at home yesterday and today because it was just because yesterday was almost 90 degrees. It's insane. But, there's no global warming. That's a hoax. Oh, yeah, there it is.
You didn't believe the x-ray.
That's right. If
Like,
I
how
hadn't
different-
known any of that, I would have been asking you about.
How different would my life be if I'd been wearing that heel for the last 20 years?
Probably
you know?
different.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're at the point that's, irrevocable, the lack of cartilage in your knees.
It's not coming back.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a knee surgery replacement
Yeah.
within the next 20 years of your life or sooner.
Yeah.
But that's all right, because that's one of the easiest, most successful surgeries there is.
That's good to know. And I mean, I am certain that medicine will advance.
Yeah, no. Knee replacement, when it's warranted, is solid surgery.
And I'm hoping in 15 years they can just inject me with some cartilage. Boom, 10-minute procedure, in and out.
Well, technically now they've already got that, but it doesn't last more than 4 to 6 months. They have hyaluronic acid injections, which is what your cartilage is made out of. Okay, so this is your psoas.
What is going on there?
That's
Oh my
your
God.
main hip flexor from sitting all day. Oh, good.
Oh.
You now have established you are human.
That hurts.
Breathe. Breathe in. Let the air go all at once. Breathe in. Let it go all at once, all at once. That's not all at once.
Okay.
That's very controlled. Yeah, there you go. And
That was a lot. I don't think I've
This
ever had
is-
massage there.
This will be worse. This is your iliacus. It's sibling.
Cut this out, I probably look like I'm giving birth in my face.
Oh, please. Breathe in, let the air go. Breathe in. Yeah, that's better. That's how you relax. Just letting go of your air. Good.
I think this one was worse.
Cool. You got to do the other side.
I don't think I've ever had that in a massage right there. I've had stomach massages. I don't think that qualifies for a stomach massage.
No.
But I've had stomach massages and I find them to be awkward and ineffective. That was something else.
Hi there, QL. Speaking of trigger point therapy, this would be an example of that feeling of just holding a point and seeing if it lets go. Oh yeah, this will be worse. Yeah, technically we could call this trigger point, except what I'm doing with the leg is pin stretching the muscle under my finger. It's just a technique that crosses over many different modalities. Pin and stretch. Oh, okay.
This is going to be worse too.
Maybe.
What was that stomach situation? What was that for?
So your psoas is your main hip flexor, and it lives all the way up there. It comes down and attaches to your upper inside leg. And when you're sitting a lot, that helps out actually.
With the discrepancy?
Yep. You're not as, that's real close.
I've had psoas work, but more like down here versus up
There's
here.
different places to access it, yeah.
Is it more effective there, or is it just like hit differently, or
It's different.
is it a different approach?
Yeah.
Different piece of the puzzle? That definitely hurt more than elsewhere.
Okay, breathe up here, breathe out. And in and out.
Just careful with the new tattoo right there. I don't think you're touching it, but
No. Some rotator cuff stuff going on.
yep.
All right, let's do
Did I
a
forget to
little
mention that?
triage for this. Serratus anterior. You can't see through the sheets, but I am working on the serratus anterior on the sides of the ribs. Again, on the very front of the shoulder blade for subscapularis, your friend and mine.
Is it though?
Not really. All right, press your wrist down into my forearm. Yep, and let go. And again, and let go. And again. Harder, 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 let go. Whew. Yeah.
That's intense.
Yep. Okay, that's got a lot more range than it did before.
I wasn't even paying attention, but I will take your word for it.
You'll see it on camera.
Does that mean we should do more?
If we had time, yes. Since we don't, I'd rather get the stuff that's going to have a longer impact. So this is your diaphragm.
Ouch.
Yeah, hi there. So as you breathe in, your diaphragm presses into my fingers. As you breathe out, it should lift away from them. Good. This is actually a good session to be an abject lesson in trying to have the most impact in a short amount of time. Means really picking your your impact areas very, very specifically and just getting them done. You know, I don't have, because we're really trying to cram in here.
Careful with the tattoo, the oil. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get this off there. There we go. So for the LMTs watching here, I'm working on traps and horizontal lines and curving my fingers and just leaning back, so I'm not actually having to use my arm to do this, my arm muscles. I'm using my whole body weight to do most of this work. Here I'm rolling up splenius capitis. Yep, so this side of your suboccipitals is the thing tilting your head back. We talked about without the heel lift, your torso tilts a few degrees towards your left. Mm-hmm. These suboccipitals tilt a few degrees to the right to bring your eyes back in line with the horizon.
Mm. And the body just does that naturally to compensate?
Yep. Yeah, your body will always choose the thing that is most likely to increase your survival rate, and seeing the world in a clear line is more important than not feeling pain, right? Because if you're not seeing the world, if you're looking at the world sideways, it's very hard to pick out the predators running at you. Not that we have those these days, but, well, we do, but just not to the degree we used to when all these systems were designed. But because all the systems we have are designed for, you know, running around in nature and gathering food and avoiding getting eaten, even if we're, you know, when we're stressed, even if it would be much more advantageous to use something like a meditation ritual to calm yourself down, your body just goes into protection mode as if it's being attacked, which was an extremely elegant solution to living in the forests. And a little bit not so useful now. Although sometimes quite useful. I had a client once tell me a story about mountain climbing and falling almost to their death and catching themselves by one arm on the edge 1,000 feet up, and that they didn't realize it, but they had torn their shoulder completely out of the socket.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, you're just going to pull your shoulder out.
Well, that's what he did, tore the labrum completely, but because his systems, survival systems, flooded him with so much adrenaline and cortisol that he couldn't feel it, he was still able to pull himself up on that one arm and then climb back down to safety. Right? We hear about mothers lifting cars off of babies. Well, that's how much drugs were flooded into his system to survive that experience, which is an amazing thing, but also not what we should be doing every day just because, our boss yells at us because a report isn't due on Monday, or that isn't due. It's due on Monday and we don't get it in on time. It's not quite equivalent, but our body is designed to make that equivalent. Although I suppose modern airports are a little bit closer to living in the forest than in terms of dangers and stress levels.
Stress is out of control traveling airports.
Yeah.
What style of massage is this?
This is still in the myofascial release bucket. Instead of using slow strokes, I'm pin and stretching your scalene muscles on your ribs and then using your head motion to create the pin and stretch. Although the rocking thing can fall into a little bit of Traeger, which we didn't even talk about. There's a whole set of styles that don't technically qualify as massage therapy, but are body work and adjacent things like Traeger or Feldenkrais or Alexander technique.
Oh, yeah. What is Feldenkrais?
Well, that's a pretty complex thing to answer, honestly. It's a movement style that's meant to help you retrain your awareness of your body, developed by a guy named Moishe Feldenkrais, who was a peer of Traeger and Alexander and Ida Rolf and all those folks in the 60s, 70s. But unlike a form of body work where it's a lot of stuff being done to you, it's not that much stuff being done to you, and it's a lot more of you being guided through movements and gaining awareness. The Alexander technique's very similar that way. It's like a lot more about you feeling the movements than about them doing anything to you.
I always associated that with alignment.
It is. They're both about that. Ultimately, the better your postural alignment, the more efficient your musculoskeletal system can be. It doesn't have to work as hard to hold your bones up. They're stacked well in gravity. The easier everything gets. And there are all of these different, the Alexander technique, structural integration, or myofascial release, which are bodywork styles where you're having things done to you. Feldenkrais, they're all attempting to help you gain awareness of your misalignments and move you towards more efficient alignments, under the sort of global theory that if you have an efficient alignment, you're far less likely to have pain symptoms, which generally correlates, not always. Some people in the neurodynamic field try to claim that just because not all bad posture equals pain, that posture can't be related to pain. That's pretty poor logic. It's a logical fallacy, like saying because all dogs are brown, some dogs are brown, all dogs must be brown. It's like, well, that's not true. Some pain is postural misalignment related and improves when you improve posture, and some isn't. And most pain is partially that and partially other factors. And if you can improve parts of it, the other parts that aren't as easily directly improved often improve too. So I hate black and white thinking. The human body is way too complex to get into black and white thinking about it. So these are your temporalis muscles, which we think of as head muscles, but are actually jaw muscles. which is why whenever anybody talks about jaw tension, TMJ, I do always ask about headaches and migraines. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Oh, that hurts, yeah. It's tight. It's not supposed to be that tight?
No. So who is it that you're holding back your anger over? Your parents, your partner,
The
your
world,
siblings?
apparently.
The
For it to be that
world,
tight.
yeah, right. I often equate TMJ to a subtle baring of teeth that is happening unconsciously all the time to your enemies that, that would probably, just be better in some ways if you just yelled at a wall for 10 minutes, 10 seconds a day. But not always. And then you actually talked through the problem with the other person, but in a nice way. You yell at the wall, talk to the person.
So that's sensitive, and it was on the other side. Is it always that sensitive? Is that just like a generally sensitive area, or is that because I'm tight?
Both.
Okay.
Most people are tight here. Some people are more tight, like you. And me, honestly, I'm a jaw clencher too. Ooh, okay. So now, those are the two external of the 4 major jaw muscles. There are more, but those are the 4 majors. But if you just work on the externals but don't work on the internals, you're not going to have all that much impact. So as requested, we are now going to pull out the gloves and do some inner mouth work on the pterygoid muscles, spelled like pterodactyl, PT.
When I did have a jaw massage, they were doing a lot in here, and it was really painful, but it was mostly in here that they were working. What are your thoughts?
That's only one of the 4.
Okay.
So the way this is going to work is there's going to be 4 points. Down here, up behind the back molar on each side. I'm going to contact them and hold them, probably with only about that much pressure. It's going to feel like I stuck a scalpel in your mouth.
Okay.
It's going to feel awful, but then what I'm going to ask you to do is move your jaw in various ways while I'm holding it, and then that's going to release a lot. And then hopefully what the end result is this feels like you had a giant bubble of tension around your head you didn't know was there that we popped.
Great.
That's often what this...
Let's pop that bubble.
Great. So I'm going to have you open wide, but not as wide as possible, and we got the top camera, so we're good. Okay. All right, so that is your lateral pterygoid attachment. That already probably feels not so great. So go ahead and open a tiny bit wider. Okay, good. From there, moving just the jaw, not your head. Can you move to the jaw, right, left, nice and easy. Yep. Good, open wider, same thing. And now try to protract your jaw, which is to push your chin towards the ceiling, but don't close the jaw. Good, and while protracting, right, left. Oh yeah, that doesn't want to go to the right at all. Okay, and open wide, and we're done with that. Scale of 1 to 10, how bad was that?
That wasn't as bad as I thought. I would give that a 5.
Okay, this is going to be more.
Okay.
All right, open wide. All right, so now we're going behind the back molar. Oh yeah, hi there. So that's about that much pressure. So again, right, left. Yeah, open wider, right, left. Oh, wow. Try to protract without biting my finger, good. And while protracting, right, left. Yeah, that's tight as a drum. And open wide, 2 breaths. All right, we're done. So that probably felt like at least a 6-7, I'm guessing, or an 8.
Yeah, that one was worse. I can still feel that.
Okay. So let's do the other side. I have a feeling this is actually the tight side. The other side is painful because it's being pulled away from the joint.
No.
So
again, the theme of this massage is this going to be worse.
Yes,
everything
this is going to be worse.
This is going to be worse.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay, this time I want you to try to go left, right, left, right. Oh boy. Open wider, left, right. And try to protract without biting down. So protract and open. And while doing that, left, right. Yeah, that's really tight. Wow. Open wide, 2 breaths, soft eyebrows. And we're done with that. Yeah, we're almost there.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a couple of nice things after that. So
Okay.
I don't like to end on the worst possible thing that we could do to you.
Okay.
All right, open.
Yeah.
This is probably the worst of the bunch. Yeah.
Ah.
All right, left, right. Yep, open a little bit wider, open, breathe, soft eyes. Right, left. Yeah, that's not moving. And protract. And right, left. Open. Open wide, soft face, and 2 breaths, and you're done after the second breath. 1 more breath. Good job.
That one was worse.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw in a stretch for your spine and your back.
Okay.
This should actually feel pretty good. So this is gonna cross over here. That's just gonna fall out. You can go limp. And breathe into my tapping finger, and in and out there. Nice. For the LMTs watching, if something adjusts like that and you're just doing a stretch and you're not trying to make it happen with ballistic force, totally okay. Trying to make it happen, totally out of scope and unethical compared to our licensure. So breathe into this tapping finger. Nice, there we go. Now we're getting some spinal twist, some lumbar twist. Good. All right, find
Can you
center.
press on this thing again? I just want to feel that again.
Good.
Like if I do that at home, should I be trying to hit that at home with a?
No.
No?
No, not
Oh.
that one. The
Okay.
other one, maybe.
I'm like, should I be trying to foam roll that?
No, but this one, the iliacus, that you could sort of basically stick like a lacrosse ball in there.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's totally safe for you to do to yourself.
But this is not safe for me to do.
No, you need to know what you're doing to get in there.
Okay. Okay.
You won't really
That's
hurt
probably why I've
yourself.
never had that before on a massage.
Yeah,
Okay.
you wouldn't hurt yourself per se, like, because you just probably wouldn't be able to get that deep, but you shouldn't be trying to do this to
Okay.
yourself. But just so you can feel it again, there's your psoas, and if you want to feel what it does, I want you to very gently leave your ankle down and just try to pick your knee up 1 millimeter really slowly. Yep, and let it go. You can feel how that fires all the way up under my thumb. That's because it's a hip flexor. So one more
that's
time.
releasing the hip?
Mm-hmm. Lift up, try to press it in towards the other knee. Yep. Good. And drop it.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yep. But
But I'm like, if it feels terrible, it's got to be doing something.
when we
No.
started, there was a huge discrepancy. Right now, take a look.
I can't see.
Oh, that's right. You sorry, you can't see.
I'll watch the video later.
There is maybe a
Yeah.
0.5 millimeter difference right now.
Yeah.
Now, partly that's because I did all the work lengthening out the left leg and did not open up the right leg. That was very intentional on my
Okay.
part. Doesn't mean it won't come back.
Right.
I could even per se say I'm going to just have worked that left psoas more than the right to help that drop out of the,
Okay.
the hip, which I'm Normally I wouldn't do so as twice like that, but you asked. It's not harmful. So, just to close things out, I'm gonna do a nice suboccipital hold. Breathe into your armpits and your collarbones. That's where your lungs are. Yeah, and let it go. And releasing the air like that releases the diaphragm, which is going to relax all of your muscles. Most of us are in control of every part of the breath at all times, so we never truly relax. But at its most relaxed, you just inhale as an action and let go of it as an undoing of the action to exhale. Yeah, nice. Good. All right. Excellent. You're welcome. Harry and I are going to step out and let you get dressed, and then once you're ready, give us a holler, and we'll do a quick body read, give you some homework, and get you out of here pretty much on time.
Okay, can you hand me my glasses, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Turn that camera off.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Should I put my shoes on, or do you want to do the reading without first?
Let's go in opposite, so we'll do no shoes, then shoes. Just to do everything in complete and utter reverse order. I'm just gonna go out and wash my hands. So here, we don't have the heel lift in. The torso lean is still there, but less, for sure. The head tilt is less. And there's a little bit more sense of both sides being equal, even without the heel lift in, which to me means that I got something done for real. Like, because you'll see in the before and after, the torso lean's more noticeable for sure.
Okay.
It's not gone, it's just less impactful.
Okay.
Turn this way, so here we've got a little bit less, this is more open in here. There's more space between ribs and hips. There's a little bit more of a sense of before there was a lot of anterior tilt to the pelvis. That's softened. It's still there to a degree, but the psoas and iliacus work have opened that up. I'm gonna give you a thought here. Right now, this is the point that's most furthest back in space. You think that you're standing straight, but you're actually leaning back. So I want you to think about this pulling up to here. Yep, and tucking down. Yeah, there you go. That's gonna feel wrong.
Totally unnatural.
But that is much more of a straight line. And that is gonna, and then letting the shoulders just be wherever. Don't worry about where they are. Yeah, don't worry about where that is much more easy looking and a straight line, except I know that you have to fire to hold it, which we'll talk about. That has a lot to do with what's going on with your calves and your feet, which before we even started, we talked about, you asked me what would be next. I do think a lower leg session would have a huge impact on everything happening up top. Okay. A side body session as well, just to get some space and some movement into these ribs so that they breathe again, as opposed to just being like locked.
Okay. I feel like this, I can't tell. I'll look at the before and after, like if it's a little bit less forward, you know?
Well, truth be told, I don't want you to be pulling them back.
Not that I want to, but this one is definitely more forward than the other.
For sure. Well, and that was some of the rotator cuff work we did for sure. Let's see what it looks like with your socks and shoes on. They're over here. I'll bring them in, because with the heel lift in, we should see things be even more.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to think of one piece of useful homework for you.
Well, you said you were going to show me like a life-changing calf stretch.
I did. Thank you. That's the one.
And maybe quad stretch.
Yes, thank you. That's why I told you, because you would remember better than I.
I won't forget.
So while you're putting those on. bring this into play, but you could easily just use a yoga block for what I'm about to show you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we got to do the forward.
So with shoes and heel lift in, yeah, that completely equalizes both sides, or not completely, but really noticeably equalizes them, which is great. Before, we still had like much more of an external rotation on this side. That's softened considerably because this side is longer and helping lift all that up, so you don't feel like you have to, your brain doesn't feel like you have to have your foot way out here to keep you from falling. So that's really solid. I know I just told you to put your shoes back on, but can you take them off to show, let me show you this thing before we send you out and back out into the world. You can leave socks on.
Okay. Need some Velcro shoes. I spend far too much time taking my shoes off. Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's do this. We'll just these. Carry my knee. All right, so what you're gonna do, we'll do one side at a time. So you're gonna stand with your feet in parallel with one foot on the roller and one not. And the goal here is to get a calf stretch on one side while still trying to stand up. So let your arms drop. Notice what above your calf tightens up to hold you up. Is it your glute? Is it your mid-back? Is it your jaw? Something is going to tighten up in response to this. And the goal is, can I comfortably stand right over my feet? And for you, that would be here. Yeah, that's your other homework, is just let yourself fall forward even if it feels like you're slouching. Let your, from your mid-back. And does that feel like a calf stretch? Good, okay. And the goal here isn't just to make a calf stretch, it's to proprioceptively get you to understand what's compensating when the calves are tight.
Okay.
Do you feel glute firing at all? Do you feel mid-back firing a little bit? Maybe, maybe not, but.
I don't know if I feel anything, but maybe I'm just not in
Is it the
tune.
knee
I mean, I also
locked?
didn't like feel the tightness in my jaw.
Right, and so there is some sort of desensitization to how you're dealing with things that we, you know, unfortunate pathway then is to resensitize you before things get better. All right, let's switch sides. Because I have a feeling this side is going to be the worst one.
It doesn't feel too different from like when I use my slant board at home. Is there a reason you think this is more effective than my slant board?
Only because your feet, the goal is having your feet how they should be normally standing without a stretch happening.
Oh, okay.
So if you're using the slant board that way, then it's probably fine. But the goal is not to have a stretch like this or to be just working on the calf. It's to relate it to having to balance.
Okay.
This might not be high enough to really get a good stretch.
Yeah, I might need it higher. And what about the quads? Is there something else I can do that's more effective?
Yeah, let's do, well, normally I would show this with the table there.
Yeah, pull it out.
Get this out of there. All right, so if I had a client in the room, yeah, that's a great sound. All right, so table, couch, bed, whatever. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring this up this way and you're gonna try to stretch straight down, not backwards, right? And the goal here is, I'm not getting enough cushion from this table, weird.
Okay.
And you wanna, if you wanna feel more, you press the top of your foot into the table to activate the muscle.
Got it. Yeah, I can feel that. Yeah, I can
And
feel
again, the goal here is trying to get it to stretch while still balancing in space and not just isolating it from the whole system or from gravity.
that. Okay.
A little bit goes a long way.
Great. Yeah, I'll work on that.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much.
You are welcome. I'll be curious over email to hear, you know what, I should speak while I'm out
Yeah, I was
making
gonna say,
weird
what?
sounds. I'll be curious to hear over email how things feel over the next day or two, if you notice any differences.
I will let you know for sure.
And again, if we were following up, it would definitely be lower leg for sure, side body for sure, and I think even combining it with the chiropractic work could be really effective.
Like how soon?
Usually 2 weeks or less, although if you're seeing the chiropractor weekly, we could alternate the two a little bit. That would probably make the most sense.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we got you out of here on time.